dun it, dun it, dun it, dun it, dun it, dun dun. Whoa, 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 whoa! Welcome to Sipping for Sunday.
What's good, everyone? Today we're ranking our top 12 Dynasty quarterbacks. So we're going to get straight into it, you know what I'm saying? So
Keep
yeah,
in mind,
it's
these
nice.
rankings don't have any rookies in it. So any of you Trevor Lawrence fans or anything like that, because we still don't know what teams those guys are on, so it'd be pretty
Yes,
hard
we
to rank.
do. I know what team Trevor's going to be on.
The
Hey.
Jets, because the Jags are awful at draft.
No. The Niners going to trade up to 1. We're going to get Trevor.
Facts. I like that. All right. So I don't know if number one's going to be unanimous. But
You don't know?
I have a guy that I think is kind of a sleeper on people's boards. I actually put Patrick Mahomes there. I know it's kind of surprising.
Really?
I heard he got a pretty small contract recently. Does that lead into your decision?
Dude, he's kind of good. I mean, they just got fast dudes and like one like big dude. So he's got good weapons.
They got fast
I
dudes and
kind of
one
like
big
Patrick
dude.
Mahomes.
He did get to bench in the last game against the Browns, though.
Yeah.
To get benched.
Yeah. But, he does get the
Think about that
Patrick
for a little
price, so gotta have it.
Basically, if you're not taking Mahomes at the 101 in your startup drafts, you're doing it wrong.
Hey, man.
Trade back.
In a super flex.
If you're not going to take Mahomes, just please trade back. Don't.
I mean, what's crazy is like you could even make a case for Mahomes being the 101 in a non-super flex.
No, you
No.
No?
No, you
you
can't.
can't.
That is just fucking
Alright.
blasphemy right there.
I mean, you're going to get the best quarterback in football for the next
Very
God knows
long
how
time.
Yeah.
Very
like,
long time.
Yeah, but then you're also, not gonna win.
No, you're not taking. No, don't listen to Shonik for that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever Charlotte tells you, honestly, just do the opposite. It's like if Charlotte tells you to not jump off the cliff, jump off the cliff.
Just take some sound advice.
All
I think
right.
two, we're gonna have some differences though. Mahomes is pretty straightforward, but I think two, we're gonna have some differences. I got Josh Allen. There's
I
a reason he's
also-
in the MVP.
I have Josh Allen.
I have Josh Allen too.
Charlotte, you
Sean,
want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I have Lamar at 2.
oh boy.
No. And this isn't even me like being biased or whatever because I have Lamar, but I'm looking at the rushing upside and like how rushing quarterbacks are gonna be more valuable.
Very, very interesting, Shonik.
Okay.
I would like to bring up this statistic I have written
Okay.
down here.
Okay, Jack.
Okay. Since entering the league the same year, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, you know who has more rushing touchdowns?
Okay, but that's touchdowns. Those aren't yards.
Yeah, and those
Touchdowns are
quick
6 points, buddy.
Okay, but when you have a quarterback rushing for 1,200 yards a season,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
when you have a
I'll
quarterback
take
who
that
goes
upside.
all for 3,000 yards this season.
Okay, so what's
know,
do the
the
math?
passing
What's
touchdowns
more
are
math?
a match.
What's more math? 1,200 rushing yards or 3,000 passing yards?
Well, Josh Allen also had 420 rushing yards this season.
Okay, but then Lamar had how
Let's
many
talk
passing?
about
Lamar had
yards?
Lamar had
Talk about longevity as a
1,500.
player. The way Lamar runs the ball, it's not very conducive to a long career.
No, I get what you're saying in that sense, but I think like that's something that he'll learn over time.
And he already can't pass. He's already terrible at it.
Yeah, I
Josh
think the
Allen
thing
is a top.
But that doesn't
Five
matter for
league
fantasy. Is
and
my
a
point.
top five
Cam
country.
Newton was the top. Cam Newton was the top what? in
Yeah, but look at
fantasy?
Cam Newton now.
Yeah, I guess.
He
that's a
was
good
worth
point.
nothing. That's what Lamar's gonna
Josh
be.
Allen was the #1 fantasy quarterback this season.
Okay, but Lamar was the #1 fantasy quarterback of all time.
I understand, but
last
he also threw for like 3,000 something yards. This year he threw for 2,757 yards.
Okay, so you threw for
Josh
300
Allen
less
threw
yards.
for. Huh? No.
The-
Lamar threw
Josh
for like
Allen threw for twice his
3,600
yards.
yards last year.
Josh Allen threw for twice his
Let me
yards.
look that up.
Josh Allen threw for 4,546
But
yards.
I don't understand why.
Let's talk
37
about
touchdowns.
Josh Allen is the first ever quarterback to have 4,500 yards, 35 passing touchdowns, and 5 rushing.
No,
touchdowns.
Lamar
He
had
can do it
3,100.
all.
Lamar
He
had
can do it all.
3,100 yards.
Bro, that is the
last year,
dumbest
and he
stat
had-
you've ever come up with, Chad.
No.
How many?
That's
But
the
yeah, but
worst
Sean,
stat ever.
how many? He threw like 36 touchdowns.
He just threw more touchdowns last year.
Yeah, this year he only threw 26.
Yeah, but he was also out for 2 games.
He had
He's gonna
seven.
get
He had
10
7
from one,
rushing
dude.
touchdowns, 26 passing touchdowns. Josh Allen had 8 passing touchdowns and 37 8 rushing touchdowns and 37 passing. with 10 picks. Lamar had 9 picks.
I just think the
I don't really think interceptions don't mean shit.
interceptions don't mean anything. I think just the rushing upside of Lamar is the reason. Like, think about it. In like last year, Lamar was the undisputed 2. In
Okay, but if we're thinking dynasty, do you want a guy who's gonna rush like Lamar for the next 3-4 years, or do you want a guy like Josh
Not even.
Allen who's gonna throw for the next?
But see,
7,
that's
8.
just an assumption that we're making right now.
No, it's not. It's not.
I'm just saying, like, it's way easier to sustain.
Like, has Lamar gotten hurt?
But like, no, I'm not talking about. I'm
Because
saying
of his rushing ability so far.
projectability based on other players. Passing lasts longer than rushing.
And
But-
not only that, Josh Allen's on the team with the most 4 wideout sets in the league. So all they do is pass the ball.
I think that Josh Allen's a safer pick just because of the arm talent that he has. And I don't think you can argue arm talent. The one thing that I would say that Josh Allen does have that's probably going to hurt him in the future is the Bills had no running game at all this year. And that's probably going to be somewhat better next year. I don't know who's going to be running the ball for them, but either they're going to pick up somebody better or draft somebody. But I think that's one thing that could hinder Josh Allen to produce these numbers in the coming years. But other than that, I think he's the more prototypical QB to last for longer. So that's why I have him at 2 personally.
I do have Josh Allen at 3, but let's hear Brian's reasoning.
So the way I think about Josh Allen is, if I'm starting a team, I'm taking Josh Allen second after Patrick Mahomes. But the way that you look at like what the Bills are doing, you got to look at who they've been drafting. They drafted 2 running backs in the past 2 years. So what does that tell you? They want to run the ball. They just can't. So I think in this season or this draft, they're going to draft like an offensive lineman and try and run the ball because Josh Allen's their goal line back right now, which, I mean, if you got a guy that's that good at passing, I don't know if you really want to hinder his health and long-term success. But, at 2, I got a short guy, and for fantasy, we don't really care about short guys because when their legs move as fast as they do, it's fantasy points for me. And the way I think about Kyler Murray is he's not as good of a passer as Josh Allen is, so he has to win the way he does. Like, he has to run the ball for them to be successful. Josh Allen, if he doesn't run the ball, the Bills are still going to win games. They're a good team. He's a good quarterback. He's going to throw the ball well. But Kyler Murray's like, a lot of the times he misses reads. He's not as good of a passer, but he can still launch the deep ball and has one of the best receivers on his team. So, I mean, for the future, Josh Allen would be better for a franchise. But for fantasy, I know for a fact Kyler Murray is going to run. With Josh Allen, they could just say, hey, man, stay in the pocket. We want to keep you healthy.
Okay, but can't I say the same thing about Lamar, though?
Lamar's
No,
not
because-
really
no,
a
be-
passer.
no, the difference between Lamar and Kyler is Kyler can actually throw the ball. Like he somewhat can throw the ball. He's a mix between Josh
But if-
Allen and Lamar, in my opinion.
If Lamar gets into the red zone, he's gonna. I mean, it's
Throw pick sixes. Yeah.
He throws touchdowns to the other
Murray-
team.
Kyler Murray is a better version for fantasy of Lamar
I'm
based on the
saying.
I
fact
don't think
that he
so.
throws the ball more.
And he
But
can
I don't
throw
think
deep
that-
balls. That's
I
the
don't think
point.
that matters. Is what
It does
you guys,
matter, though.
It does matter because if you
He's-
look at this,
When you have
okay,
a quarterback rushing for 1,200 yards and then 1,000 yards,
Yeah,
that's
Ky-
just something
Ky-
that you
Bro,
can't.
Kyler
Kyler
rushed
had
for-
811
Kyler
touchdowns.
yeah, Kyler had 819 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns, and he threw for 3,971 yards,
I'm j-
and Lamar
just
threw
saying,
for 2,700. They threw
Kyler's
the
like
same amount of touchdowns.
Kyler can't run the ball as well as Lamar and doesn't run as much, but he's like a way better thrower and he throws a lot more. So I just
I
feel
guess
like
that's fair.
if I'm drafting Dynasty, I'm at the 102. I'm taking McCaffrey or Kyler. I'm not taking Josh Allen.
There is a reason that I think Kyler was even in MVP talks earlier in the season. He just had a little bit of a fall off towards the end of the year.
Because he sucks.
I don't think you think he sucks. You probably have him at 5.
I'm a-
So,
I had him and Deshaun interchangeable.
So I have him at 3. I think Kyler's kind of the bears and the porridge. Like Kyler's that like in the middle dude, right? He's like just right. So like if you want
That's
him
what
to
I'm
that
saying.
that passing and rushing, I think
Wow.
Kyler's that in the middle guy. I still have Josh Allen ahead of him just because I like that offense a little bit
We're
more.
talking about 3 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about 3.
That's fair.
Kyler.
But
With
I
Kyler
think
3,
I think-
Jack.
You guys are way higher on Kyler than I am. I have
He has
Deshaun
3.
Watson at 3.
I also have Deshaun Watson at 3.
What?
You
Why?
have him at 3?
Because Kyler, you know, talk about how long he's actually going to be in the NFL compared to Deshaun Watson.
You guys are reading into
No,
that.
no. I don't think about that.
But the difference is Kyler doesn't take hits. Like he slides. He's a baseball player. He never
That's
takes
you know
hits.
that's true.
So even if he becomes slower, he's gonna progress as a passer because you've seen like good flashes from him.
Yeah, but also he's not the most prolific passer.
Oh
Like,
no,
he's-
but he
he's
runs way
alright.
more. Which
Yeah,
is
I mean, as long
amazing
as
for
they keep
fantasy.
winning games, he'll be good. But
No, but the Cardinals stink, so he has to run for them to win.
I
So
mean,
they're-
no. I mean, I don't think the Cardinals stink anymore.
dude, if they had if they had a terrible quarterback, their team would be awful. Versus
Well,
like
they
the-
were. I mean, you do have the top 2 receiver in football.
I thought it was top 1. What changed?
Well, I mean,
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams changed. Is that what-
you can't ignore a season like Devontae Adams had.
All right.
yeah, I don't know what Deshaun Watson's doing at Houston. Like it's Houston. Come on, he's
Yeah,
gonna
but-
move to a better
But
team.
another argument you could say is his defense is gonna put him in holes all the time, so that's why he's gonna have to throw more. So if he actually goes to a good, like, let's say he goes to the Niners, they're still gonna want to, establish that run game.
Not when
Well, I think I have him lower than you guys will by a long shot, just because I don't like drafting players when I don't know their complete situation.
You took Zeke.
That was that I think Zeke was pretty. We knew who Zeke
I don't
was.
think Zeke's going anywhere. He's on a pretty big contract.
No, but at the time when Tyler took Zeke,
okay,
Uh,
that's irrelevant.
yeah,
That's I just think that if I'm looking at if I was drafting today, how confident would I believe in Deshaun Watson? I just don't know if I believe in him that much that I wouldn't pass on him for a guy like. I have him at 7, so I have him behind
for
guys
Dynasty,
like.
Wow.
I would say I would believe in talent more.
Yeah,
than
I would say
Yeah.
any team doesn't matter.
For me,
It's Deshaun Watson.
for me, Deshaun Watson. There's 2 teams he's going to where he's not the starter, and it's probably the Chiefs and it's the Packers. Like anywhere else, he'll probably be the starter. So
I agree. He's going to be the starter, but I don't want him to play. Like I don't think he will, but I don't want.
So where do you guys
You
think?
just have to believe in the
I
talent.
Where do you-
It doesn't
Deshaun-
matter where he goes.
Yeah, Deshaun is a generational type talent that no matter where he goes, he's going to perform.
Okay, I gotta.
No,
I
no,
gotta-
but
loses his
no.
number. He loses his number 1 receiver. He throws for 4,823 yards. Like
Yeah, think about it this way. Like wherever he goes, like how much worse is it going to be than the Texans were this year?
Oh, I don't think it can get that much worse. But
Yeah, and he was still the 5th quarterback in the for fantasy.
But we don't even know if he comes back to the Texans. Does he even have his number 1 option?
Or Will Fuller. He was
Will-
still
Will-
elite without Will Fuller, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't like that offense in general.
But it doesn't matter when you're
Might not even
Deshaun
be there,
Watson.
though.
It doesn't matter. He's so good. It's literally
Okay,
he's gonna
okay.
score points.
I got a question for you guys. Where do you think is the best like realistic fantasy situation for Deshaun? If that made sense.
Fantasy?
Like,
best landing spot.
yeah,
Dolphins?
but like for fantasy, not just for him. Like for fantasy.
either Miami or stay with the Texans.
Probably Miami or stay with the Texans. Yeah, especially.
You guys don't
with-
like Carolina?
Maybe
Carolina's
Carolina.
good.
Yeah,
I don't think Carolina has a chance to get him though.
Yeah.
Like if we're thinking realistically, they don't have the capital.
The Panthers would rather just draft a quarterback to play under Teddy for like 2 years.
I think they're gonna trade up.
2 years.
Are we on 4? Did everybody say their 3?
I mean,
think
we've
have-
kind of just talked about the 5 in general.
Yeah, I think the Josh Allen, Deshaun, and Kyler are probably the top 3 under Mahomes.
Yeah.
I
I
have
do
I
have
have
Lamar
Lamar
too,
at 4.
Lamar's fair. Lamar,
Yeah,
I would
Lamar
say
at 4.
Josh Allen, Deshaun, Kyler, and Lamar are kind of
Are-
interchangeable.
The only thing
Uh,
that's scary about Lamar is the fact that he is so dependent on the run. So
Yeah.
I mean,
The thing that scares me with Lamar is that like he was a great passer's MVP, or not a great passer, but he was above average passer's MVP year, and this year he was said to make strides in his passing, but he regressed,
yeah,
No, but
and and he had a worse rushing season.
Well, I mean, he
So-
was the number 1
no,
quarterback like ever in fantasy last year.
Yeah,
So
but he
you're-
rushed
it's-
for 200
You're
less
bound
yards.
to regress.
But he regressed.
But he regressed as a passer, which was the bad thing.
Exactly.
I'm saying like the rushing yards that he got last year is pretty much unsustainable. But he should have made strides in his passing game, and he didn't because he had way less passing.
Yeah, which scares me.
Yeah.
Which is why I think he drops for everybody other than you.
Yeah.
But I think that, I mean, it depends what they do in the offseason. But I mean, he doesn't have a true number one receiver on his team where Mahomes has one, Josh Allen has one, and Kyler has one.
Deshaun Watson doesn't have one.
Deshaun doesn't, but
I think Will Fuller's a true one. Yeah, I think he proved that this season if he comes back.
yeah, and Tyler makes a good point too. Will Fuller was
But it's
playing
also
like
like the Ravens. That's just like not how they play. Like they play a West Coast.
But is it?
Yeah.
Do they not play like that because they don't
No,
have the
it's
option to
because
play like
Lamar
that?
has
Because of
Lamar doesn't
Lamar.
have an arm talent. He doesn't have the arm
develop-
talent that.
They developed the offense around him. All their read options and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good point. But I
It's all
think it's
West
like
Coast.
they don't have any. They don't have any. Like their WR2 is Willie Snead.
No,
It
it's
doesn't
Miles
matter.
Boykin.
Okay.
Miles Boykin's not bad.
All right, I think so.
Okay.
I think we kind of have that kind of tier down in general. We want to move on to 5. I think we did 1 through 4 pretty well. I have Dak. I'm pretty high on Dak in general. I think that I'm higher on him than some other people. I know he's coming off the injury. I know you can consider Herbert there, but I think Dak has way better weapons and a way worse defense, which are two things that you love as a fantasy football owner. I really hope the Cowboys continue doing what they always do and don't invest in their defense, let their key defensive free agents leave. So Dak has to keep putting up 40-point games.
I saw somewhere where they might, like, I don't know. It was just like a Instagram account, so I don't know how, reliable it is. But if they cut Jalen Smith, who's like their best, well, one of their
Not their
best
best
linebackers,
linebacker.
not
Nope.
their best. No, that's Van Der Esch, but like a starting linebacker who got paid a lot of money. They saved like $7 million or something, so that would even make their defense worse. So, I mean, I have Dak at 6. He was incredible before the injury.
He was the
I-
number 1 player in fantasy before.
Yeah.
he-
Dak averaged 25.5 fantasy points per game.
Yeah,
100.
I would say if you could guarantee me that he is a Dallas Cowboy next season, I would take him over Herbert. But in my opinion, this is like the stability and how good Herbert has looked and how many touchdowns he threw this year and his rushing upside. Plus he has Keenan Allen and they're getting a new coach. Just that stability and that it's just a big difference between him and Dak. But honestly, like those weapons and that secondaries, the weapons are so good and the secondary is so bad that if you guaranteed it, then I would move Dak to number 5.
I think even if you put Dak on I'm just speculating here, but let's say the
Where
Colts
do you
make
guys
a,
have Deshaun? Because he's in my top 5. I don't even have Dak top 5.
Yeah, everybody else has
I
Watson
have Dak
pretty
at
high.
Dak at
6.
7.
I have him at 6.
I have Dak at 7 too.
So we want to talk about.
Our list is the same, Ryan.
Yeah,
I was
know,
gonna.
right?
I was gonna say. I mean, is there a chance the Colts go after Dak?
I mean,
No,
I
we're
don't
not
think that
talking-
he's going to
no.
leave.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna stay, but I have like I don't know because the Cowboys have no money. Like I did a Cowboys franchise, and when you sign Dak, you have nothing left
No,
because
they-
like each of their contracts just keeps getting higher each year. So like eventually they're gonna be like the Saints and have negative 60 million.
I think the thing with Dak in general is I think him and Herbert are in a similar tier. And if your team is going to be a bit younger in general, I'd say definitely draft Herbert, even though I'm a bigger fan of Dak, just because of the age difference there. Like if it's a difference between 1 or 2 years in the quarterback position, I don't think it makes a difference personally, because how long the longevity is at that position. But if it's somebody, the difference like Dak and Herbert have, because Herbert's
Not like
still only
4
22.
Is that like 4 years? How old is Dak?
5 years,
5
27.
years.
Dak's 27 and Herbert is only 22 still.
Yeah.
So I think that's where you'd say I'll draft a guy who's a little bit younger. But if you're trying to win now, I think Dak has a higher chance of having the higher upside as long as he's on the Cowboys, which
Yeah.
I think there's no way he doesn't end up on the Cowboys.
I can see a way. But the thing about Dak is, he's going to have a great receiving core. They got Amari Cooper, and they got my boy CD Lamb.
And they have Gallup.
Yeah, but they're not going to be able to keep Gallup. He
But-
has one more year left, and then he's going to be gone.
We'll see. I think he likes it in Dallas.
I know,
Gal-
but there's
Gallup's gone.
no,
Gallup-
but
they don't
there's
have enough
literally
money.
no way they can pay him
Do they just have no money?
unless they let Dak go. That's the only way they can keep him.
Oh, then it's irrelevant.
Yeah, but I'm just saying Jerry Jones loves drafting his weapons, so he's always gonna have good weapons, and their secondary is gonna continue to be trash for many years because Jerry Jones does not know how to draft. So yeah, Dak's pretty good.
Okay, so besides me and Ryan, we all have Herbert, Dak, Kyler, 6, 7, 8. Or yeah. 6, 7,
I
8.
have Herbert at 6.
I've heard it at 7.
Yeah.
At 6.
Wait, so you have Lamar at 7, Tyler?
No, I have Lamar at 4. I have Watson at 7 just because I don't know where he's going to be. I think
have-
he's more talented than Lamar, Dak, Herbert
Yeah.
by
So
far.
if-
I just don't know where he is.
I
So
think-
if Deshaun was on the Texans, where would you
I'd
put
put him
Deshaun?
at 4. If
Okay.
he's on the
if he
And
was
then
on
you'd
the
bump him down.
Dolphins, if he was on the
I'd
Dolphins,
probably keep him on 4. I think he's 4 if he's on those 2 teams, but I just don't like the fact that he's not on a team yet.
well, he's on the Texans right now.
Is he? His Twitter says otherwise.
That's true, but he's under contract, so if nothing happens, he's gonna stay
I was
there.
at a 2 and then I went to a 10.
And he's not holding out because there's no way.
He could just be like, I'm not playing.
Well, he can't hold out. He's getting paid. He has no reason to hold out.
Exactly.
Except for
could
he
hold
hates the
out.
franchise.
I mean, he could retire, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Is I'm scared to pull an Andrew Luck and just be like, I'm out.
No, but that's different though. Andrew Luck was
I know it's
beaten
different,
up.
but
Andrew Luck was also like 30. Deshaun's 25. That would be crazy.
Wait, Deshaun Watson's 25.
he's very young.
Oh.
Top 3.
I mean, he'd definitely be my QB.
I think that has to be a tier 2 through 4. Kyler, Josh Allen, Watson are definitely a tier. You
I
can
just-
put him
Yeah.
whatever order you want to put them. It's fine, but
You don't think
And then-
Lamar is part of that
no,
too?
because Lamar can't pass the ball.
But it doesn't matter for fantasy.
Yes, it does because he
No,
could
it
lose his
doesn't.
job if he can't pass the ball and stops being able to run as well as he does. Once he loses his legs,
Lamar's about to get paid though. Did you see what Harbaugh said?
I
Did
don't.
you see what Harbaugh said?
Yeah,
He's about to get
Carson
extended
Wentz
for a
got
very long
extended too, buddy.
if you can't
Extensions
pass, you
don't
can't
matter.
last.
time.
Oh, I like
And they
that.
still don't know
I
what
like
to
that.
do. They still don't know whether to start Wentz or not.
Yeah, because
they
they have to
benched
pay him so
him.
much money. If Wentz didn't have his
Exactly.
contract, it wouldn't even be a question.
That's
how
what I'm
bad he
saying.
was.
That's what
Okay,
I'm saying. It's
Sean-
the same thing
Sean,
with Lamar.
okay,
He's gonna get a
okay.
contract.
Okay, you're guaranteeing he's going to be a starting quarterback. That doesn't guarantee he's going to be a good starting quarterback.
That doesn't make him better
No,
than
I-
Josh Allen or Deshaun
But
Watson.
Wentz doesn't have that type of rushing upside. This is a stupid comparison.
But Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen, and Kyler Murray do. What do you mean?
If you-
What they have?
If you're
what?
gonna
The
if you're
rushing
gonna
upside.
bank, if
Not
you're
as much
gonna
as
bank
Lamar,
on
though.
this rushing
have
upside,
more
take
touchdowns.
Kyler Murray, who's a better
That's what I'm
thrower
saying, bro.
and an equal rusher. Just take Kyler Murray.
He's not an equal rusher though.
He's pretty much an equal rusher. He
Yeah,
rushed for
he ran
11
a little
touchdowns,
less
800
yards and more touchdowns.
It evens
Yeah,
out.
but in two less games.
All right, who do you guys have? I think we kind of gone through our top 7.
Okay, so at 8 I would put Trevor, but we're not doing that. So
I would
So who
still
do you
take
have at
Burrow
8?
over Trevor.
Who do you have at 8?
I have Rodgers at 8.
Over Joe
I have
Burrow?
Burrow.
I just the injury kind of scares me. I have
At
Joe Burrow
8?
at 9.
At 8, I have Russell Wilson, but I'm
Yeah, I have
debating
Wilson
whether to
too.
put Joe Burrow over Russell Wilson.
Joe Burrow. You have to take Joe Burrow.
I think that Burrow looked really great. I think this is another situation kind of with Dak and Herbert, but just a lower tier for me personally. Is I would
Okay,
just
I
take,
think I would flip Herbert. Not Herbert. I think I would flip Burrow and Rodgers. Thinking about it.
I have Wilson, Burrow, and Rodgers kind of all in a similar tier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
8, 9, 10,
yeah.
I have Wilson, Burrow, Rogers.
And I
I
think
would go
that
Burrow,
at
Rodgers.
10, at 10, I got a sleeper pick for you guys. I got
Okay,
a sleeper
well,
pick for
let's
you
talk
guys.
about 8 right now.
I
Let's
think,
talk
you
about,
can, I think you
let's-
can include Tannehill in that tier though.
No, you
Let's
can't.
talk.
no.
Let's talk about Joe Burrow right now.
I
Let's
think
talk about Joe Burrow.
yeah, Burrow's a really good prospect. He
I
looks
think
really good
he
in
would
the
have won
NFL.
Rookie of the Year if he didn't get hurt.
It would have been close.
It would have been close.
Yeah.
I think the thing that's going to hold Burrow back is first off whether or not they get Penei Sewell. That's a question that will probably be answered, and that's going to be a huge difference maker for him. If they can get Penei Sewell, that'll be huge.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals as an organization, like they kind of have to build around Burrow, so I think that's really good for him, just because of he's not a guy like Tua right now. Like I feel like if you look at Burrow and you look at Tua right now, like they're in completely different situations. Like the Dolphins
they
are kind of
know,
wishy-washy.
like,
Like you can
Burrow's
kind
the
of tell
guy.
that. And I think Burrow's kind of cemented in there, and I think he has some decent weapons. He looked really solid in general, but he didn't have any time. That's the only thing that I'd say is he had no time.
I think at their draft position, even if they go Penei Sewell, who actually like looks more like a guard than a tackle in my opinion, they could still take like Rashawn Slater or who's the other guy?
He's out of Northwestern, right?
I'm
Slater?
blanking on the other tackle. What's his name?
Not Leatherwood, right?
No, he's second rounder.
Yeah.
Who's the other guy? I don't know, but either way, I feel like
is it Davis Wyatt, the Ohio State
No, that's
guy?
a guard. He's on Ohio State. I forget what his name is, but it doesn't matter. Whatever they do, they might trade back. Whatever, they're taking offensive linemen because if they don't, they're just idiots.
Do we like his weapons?
I love.
Oh, he
Higgins.
had T. Higgins. I forgot about him.
T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd.
Christian Darrisaw, right?
Oh, that's who it was.
Yep.
Where's he out of?
Virginia Tech.
Yeah, but either way, they're taking a tackle. They got great weapons. Their running game is, but they do have Joe Mixon, so he's going to give you a couple big games a year. I just think he's in a great offense.
Joe Mixon's a very interesting.
Joe Mixon's good.
Does Joe Burrow rush like that though? Is he like a?
He has sneaky rushing upside. It's like not as good as Herbert, but he has
kind of like Kirk Cousins. Like Kirk Cousins is a sneaky rusher.
Yeah, I would say
he doesn't run a bunch. I think to say that he's a rusher is kind of disingenuous to his game because he doesn't run a bunch.
He's like one of those guys where you think he's a pocket passer, but then when you watch him run, you're like, oh, he can run.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not trying to run.
Right.
That's like his utter last option.
The only downside to him is his injury, in my opinion. Everything else
I think without the injury, he might have been like 6 or 7.
He'd be wherever you put Herbert, you'd have to put him right before, right after.
Yeah.
He did have fumbling issues, I would say, but that's you can't blame him for that because that's just how bad his pocket was. So I wouldn't put that on him, but he did. I mean, Josh Allen had that issue and he fixed that pretty quickly.
He was on pace to beat the rookie records that Herbert beat.
Who?
So Burrow.
Oh, Joe Burrow. Yeah, Joe Burrow's looked phenomenal. I think we can all agree with that.
It's just the injury scary.
So at 8, I actually have Russell Wilson, and let me tell you why. So the age difference between Russell Wilson and Joe Burrow is 8 years. I understand that. Russell Wilson has DK Metcalf, and he has Tyler Lockett.
Lockett's kind of old though.
He's 27. Like, doesn't matter. He's gonna be playing for the next 3 years or 4 years.
Okay.
So, but he has a guy named DK Metcalf, obviously. And the way I see it is that Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll have this connection, that's just it's like this deep love connection that Russell Wilson is never not going to be the starting quarterback until he retires.
That's a good point.
So for me, Russell Wilson is still he still rushes well, and he threw for 40 touchdowns this year, which I didn't know until I looked it up. 4,212 yards, 23.2 fantasy points per game, 513 rushing yards. So I think as long as Russell Wilson could play at a decent level with his weapons, he could be better with Joe Burrow than Joe Burrow is for the next, let's say 5-6 years. So I guess if you had Joe Burrow, if you have a rebuilding squad, Joe Burrow all the way. If you have a win now and you're at this spot, Russell Wilson.
The one thing that I'd say is I have Wilson at 8-2, but the one thing that I do have that's scary for Wilson is I don't know if you guys know Brian Schottenheimer.
Oh, he got fired.
Got fired. But the scary part about that is they also said, hey, we want to run the ball.
I was about to say that. They want to run the ball more.
It's a bit
nerve-wracking. Yep. If they're wanting to run the ball more, and they're trying to get rid of Brian Schottenheimer. I don't know who they're going to hire, but I'm a little bit scared.
Yeah, they're interesting because last year, all they did was run the ball. And then this year, all they're doing is throwing the ball.
When they had Chris Carson, they were actually running with him a good amount. It's just when they had Chris Carson, because that man is made of glass, and he's a free agent. So he might not even be on the Seahawks next year.
Hopefully it's not for their sake.
Russell Wilson, after week 10, had one game above 20 points.
He still averaged 23.2 fantasy points per game, though.
You could kind of look at it as it was inflated by his insane first half and then a really bad second half. Because he did
Okay,
not have a good
Okay,
second
but
half.
if you're looking at fantasy points per
It's
game, which
points.
But
It
it's
doesn't matter.
consistency. We
Points
have to
are
look into the
points.
but it's
consistency
consistency too.
is fantasy points per game.
So how was Lamar your number 2 quarterback? He was terrible at the start of the year.
Well,
It's fantasy points per game. It doesn't
It's
matter.
fantasy points per game. That takes away the bad first half.
okay,
good,
so when
bad
Tyler
second half.
Lockett dropped 40 points,
Yeah,
versus
what
the-
was his fantasy points per game?
super high because that one game's
No, it
gonna
wasn't
inflate
because
it.
he had one 40-point game and
He had two. Well, he had two really good games.
I'm just saying
Tyler
you look
Lockett's-
at you can't look at it like a season of points, like fantasy points, and just say take out that week because that's a big week. That's just stupid.
Well, it's looking at their consistency.
He still was consistent. He just did. What do you mean?
I mean, were you happy with Russell
okay,
Wilson's production?
Speaking
So
of
if a guy
consistency.
is consistent for 10 weeks first and then bad for 6 weeks, would you rather have that or 10 week or during the 10 weeks he's good for 7 of them and then he's good for 3 of the 3 more weeks within 10 to 11 to 16?
What are you saying?
Like consistency, it doesn't have to be. You thinking he's not consistent because he was really good for 10 straight games. What if he was good for 7 games in the 10 and good for 3 games in the 16 in the rest of the 16?
It's not that he was really bad. He wasn't good. If you watch the Seahawks game, he wasn't good. He didn't look like a good quarterback, in my opinion. And that's not even like
Okay,
me
but
being biased as a
fantasy
Niners.
wise, was he bad?
I mean,
You're gonna
Because
talk about.
because it
You're-
doesn't matter if you look bad in real life. You could be good.
but then
against
you also have to look
Yeah,
at the
Lamar
concerns
Jackson's
that
a perfect example.
they want. But then you want to look at the concerns if they want to run the ball more.
That's the only thing I'm a little bit scared of. But
And
the
then
one
if
thing
he
that's-
already
Okay, but
looked
Sean,
bad, and
Sean,
then they're gonna want to run the ball more.
Sean,
I have him at 10. Like
Okay,
I have
think
him
about
up
it.
there.
Think about it. Last year they ran the ball a ton, right?
yeah,
Guess where he
That's what-
ranked of quarterbacks?
He ranked
Third.
3.
and that's the other thing I was going to bring up.
Doesn't matter.
If we want to talk about consistency, like since 2013, he hasn't been outside the top 10.
Yeah, you know he's gonna be top 10 for at least 3 years. Definitely like 5.
And I think that's the same thing you can say about a lot of these guys once we get down to like the 10 range. But Burrow, I think, is once again it's the
I
same
just wouldn't-
situation as
I wouldn't
as
get your
Herbert.
hopes up.
No,
though.
but okay,
it,
but
it doesn't matter if you're bad at the position for.
Well, he's
fantasy.
definitely good at the position.
Exactly. If you produce fantasy points, why does it matter if you suck at your job?
I don't know because I don't know if he's gonna produce fantasy points. The trend is
What?
going downward.
No,
the
it's
trend's
not.
downward. Yes, it is.
How?
For the last what is that, like 10
Lamar's
games?
trend is also going.
Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear his fantasy
Lamar played
position?
good.
Do you want to hear where he's finished in fantasy his entire career? 11,
But that doesn't
8,
matter 'cause
3,
he's
3, 10,
aging.
1, 9, 3, 6.
I'm just saying
You have
he's
to
not
take away
trending well.
your Seahawks hate.
I'm
bias.
not. I'm taking away my Seahawks bias.
No, you're
He
not.
wasn't a good fantasy quarterback from week 10.
So for 6 weeks, he was a bad fantasy quarterback.
But aren't
So
those the
was
most?
Lamar Jackson.
Aren't those the most important 6 weeks?
I don't understand how you can say a player
don't-
has
okay.
half a bad season and then say in the same sentence that Lamar Jackson's your
You have to
second
look
ranked
at
quarterback.
You have to
No.
look at trends, right?
Shauna,
if someone's
Shauna,
trending
you
better
don't-
for the second half of the season compared to someone trending worse in the second half of the season,
Sean, okay,
he
guys.
didn't
guys,
trend well.
You don't draft quarterbacks based on how they play weeks 11 through 16. That's so stupid. You draft
just
guys
saying,
based on they
not-
play throughout the whole season.
Okay, whatever.
Wilson
It's
won
fine.
you
It's
10
fine.
weeks.
It's
He
fine.
won you 10
It's fine.
weeks.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
What?
I just-
Okay.
I,
so
you
it's-
have to look at trends. That's all. That's what I look.
You're
like
so,
to
but the
look
thing
at.
is I don't get how you're acting like Russell Wilson's gonna fall off the cliff.
He's
You
still
know
Russell
another
Wilson.
guy they were saying that about last year was falling off a cliff. I'll give you a hint. His worst seasons are better than most guys' career years, and I think you can say the same thing about Wilson.
Facts.
So like to say something like that is kind of I don't know. I don't agree with it because I think we all can expect a bounce back from Wilson. I think that's kind of what happens when you have the number 1 dynasty receiver.
Well,
on
Jack
your
doesn't
team.
even have him in the top 12.
Wilson?
Yeah.
I have him at 9.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't have him top 12.
No, I have him at
You
9.
Oh, you
Okay,
changed it.
so
10.
if we're talking about like okay, he had a bad trend this season, but the previous seasons, his trend was bad first half.
But then
Yeah.
you look at then
Yeah,
you
it
look
was.
at that, and then you look at them firing their offensive coordinator.
I don't think that's bad. I don't
I
think that's
don't
bad
think
for
it
Russ.
matters. He's
Because
still
the year they
Russell Wilson.
rushed the most, which was last year, he did fine.
I mean,
Yeah.
he still threw the ball.
I think
He-
the only
had-
concern for
He
Russ
only
is
he only had 100 less passing yards last year.
What?
Russell
Exactly.
Wilson.
Okay,
last
so
year
okay,
had
so
100
last
less
year they were
passing.
run heavy, and he still threw for 4,100 yards.
But then how come this year? How come this year they were pass heavy and he only threw for 4,200?
with
Because they
40
became run
touchdowns.
heavy. They
With
became run
40
heavy second half.
touchdowns. 40 touchdowns.
But it's
It
also the
doesn't matter. It's
consistency.
Russell Wilson. Like I don't understand how you can just hate this much.
40
It's whatever.
touchdowns.
I
think
still
we
have
can-
him ranked
We can
10,
move on.
like-
We can move on from this. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I have after Wilson and Burrow, who had Rodgers at 9. I have Rodgers at 10.
Same.
Rodgers
I
at
think
9.
too.
He's a phenomenal player. I think that's kind of
He's
like
just
there's
old.
it's just his age. Yeah, that's the only thing holding him back.
He's a perfect win now quarterback. Like if you're trying to win the next 3 years, he's perfect.
And I
you
think
know-
he'll fall for sure. Like he's not gonna fall like some guys like. I mean, I don't know if you should even draft guys like Big Ben, but like
Wait,
Rodgers.
are we on 10 right now, or are we on?
Yeah,
9?
we're at 10.
10.
Oh,
I don't know. It's Baker.
no, it's no,
it's
it's,
not
it's
big.
famous
For you
Jameis.
guys. Okay, I'm predicting that in the next 4 years, this guy is going to be a top 5 quarterback. Jameis Winston.
See, wasn't he a top 5 quarterback?
Pick him up
Yeah,
off
he
the
was.
waiver wire.
Okay,
Oh, this
Jack,
guy is
explain.
gonna be
Explain.
So good. Taking over the Saints. I don't even care where he goes.
They don't
He's
have
gonna
money
be
for him,
the
though.
best fantasy quarterback.
Mr. 30 for
Yeah,
30 himself.
30 for 30.
Hey, I will say this.
If Jameis
I will
does sign to a team,
I will say this.
Looking
Jameis
good.
Winston, since his eye surgery, is 1 for 1 for a touchdown.
It's the LASIK, man. I think it's not even. I mean, I think that's the hot take, but it's not even that much of a hot take because I completely agree with you. If he ends up on any offense with a pulse, I would take Jameis over a lot of. I would take him over Wilson. I would take him. I don't know, just because of he has
I
that
think-
gungslinger mentality, which
Oh,
is really great for fantasy.
5,100 yards.
Okay, the problem
Last
with Jameis Winston is okay, he's very high upside. I'm not debating that. But even if he
Also
goes,
weird.
even if he stays on the Saints and plays like garbage, he might not be the starter by week 5. He lost his job to Ryan Fitzpatrick one of the years. And then he threw 30 picks the next season. So you could say his eye surgery, but he's just not. He has 0 floor. Like his floor is literally a backup quarterback.
Oh yeah, it is for sure.
He had 5
But
picks versus the Jags last
this
year.
also brings up the argument that like you don't have to be good at your job to be a good fantasy
Oh
quarterback.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I'm just saying like
He
he might be
has to
so
be-
bad he won't have a job.
Get benched.
That's fair.
Also, I have some breaking news. Patrick Mahomes is cleared to play.
Oh, nice.
Let's go. Mahomes
So we
with
get Josh Allen. Okay.
The 4 quarterbacks in the championship games are insane.
I think that's gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty fun.
So at
They
10, I
also could
have
still
Aaron
play
Rodgers.
Taysom Hill over Jameis too.
There's
I-
no way.
I mean, they
Sean,
did this
Taysom
year.
Hill
way.
started over Jameis
They
this
literally
year.
did that this year.
Yeah, they did that this year.
Okay,
Shonic,
in his
Shonic.
games, he didn't throw for a single passing touchdown one game.
Okay, but I don't think Sean Payton really cares. They were winning football
He threw the
games.
ball like 12 times. He
They
does
played against
have to
Kendall
win games
Hinton.
like that.
That's
I would
true.
hope
no,
they
no, no.
win.
Didn't they have a? They had a good win though.
They
right?
lost. They lost to Jalen.
They
Hurts,
lost.
though.
Yeah, they
Kendall
lost to
Hinton.
Jalen.
They also played the Broncos and played like shit. And their quarterback was a receiver.
Yeah. They played so bad, but won.
Oh, they beat the Falcons twice.
It's some
Okay,
Matty
wait,
Ice.
Shonic. So how are you gonna have Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson when they're 5 years apart and they have like?
Am
pretty
I the
much
only one who has that?
stats?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Packers fan even said
They have pretty much identical stats and they're 5 years apart.
Let's
Aaron
chill on
Rodgers-
the
30
I don't know
identical
about
stats.
identical.
They're
Okay,
not
okay.
identical.
I mean like fantasy stats.
But
They're
Aaron-
both very good quarterbacks, and I think that Wilson's going to be in the league for a little bit longer than Rodgers is going to be.
But like Brady's shown that you could be 43 and still.
But we're
still
talking
gain.
dynasty
No, but
quarterbacks.
The difference between Brady and Rodgers is Rodgers didn't take care of his body as well. He's way more injury prone. I honestly think he has like 3 years left, and they
I
they
agree with
drafted
that.
a
You want to
quarterback.
start Brady as a fantasy quarterback next year?
I mean, he was really good this year.
I'm not starting him.
I want
Brady was really good this year.
Yeah, but
I
Sean,
wanna-
like, at 43 years old, you're not starting Tom Brady as
He was
your fantasy quarterback.
he was
he's
still
a
the-
QB2.
He was the QB. He was the QB7 this year.
Okay, but he's not your QB1 in a dynasty.
Yeah, in a dynasty, but he was still
What
the QB7.
podcast are we doing right now?
No, but I'm saying Tom. Okay, look, Tom Brady is still on someone's dynasty team, right? Like he's not on the waiver wire.
If you're drafting
Yeah, but you're not
today,
drafting a 37-year-old over 32.
But I'm saying,
that
let's say
produces pretty much the same value.
okay, so 6 years ago, Tom Brady was what year?
I would draft Jordan Love above Tom Brady in the dynasty draft right now.
No, now,
would
but I'm
too.
saying when Tom Brady was 37, where were you taking Tom Brady in the dynasty?
Probably
That's
not
my
very
point.
high because he was old
He was
and he
very
never
old.
runs.
Okay, and then he still
Father
still
time,
had 6
Dominic,
more years.
Father time.
He still had 6 more years.
Well,
This
Yeah,
has
I
but
mean,
that's
But you
unprecedented.
don't know that.
That's
That's
gonna
not
happen.
guaranteed.
Like
He's
what?
the only one ever to do that.
Yeah.
Like
Sean,
George
you're
Commanda?
yeah.
Like what?
Look, 2015, Brady was the QB2. In 2016, he was the QB18, and ever since then, he's finished in the
wait,
top
so
12.
2015. So we're talking about when Joe Burrow and we had and Herbert. Those guys were in high school. That's a long time ago.
Okay,
Sean.
so Brady was QB2 in 2015. What was in 2016? He was QB18.
And then 4, 12, 11, 7.
4, 12, 11, 7.
So
Okay.
he finishes a QB1 the past 1, 2.
Why are you even
4
talking
years.
about Tom Brady? He's so old.
Because we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. You guys are acting like Aaron Rodgers can't do it, which I think he
What?
can.
No, I did
No,
not say
Aaron-
that. I did
No,
not say
Aaron
that.
Rodgers can be Tom Brady, but when you're talking dynasty and you're drafting right away, why would you take a guy 5 years older who produces fantasy-wise
Similar stats.
similar level? Why would you do that?
And I think
Because
You're
the
just putting
thing
yourself
is,
in a hole.
I think the thing is it just doesn't make sense because I mean, as a Packers fan, I couldn't see Aaron playing for that much longer. And you could say, oh, he doesn't have kids.
I guess the
he's not
drafting
in
of
a
Jordan Love makes
relationship,
it. But I think
But
if you want to win now, I'd rather have Rodgers over Wilson.
Sure, but if you're in a startup,
That's fair. If you're in a startup draft, you're taking Russell Wilson over Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened in my startup?
all right, what about at 11? Who do we got?
got Jalen. It hurts.
Really?
I have
I
to
have
get
Ryan
Not
Tannehill.
like him.
I have Ryan
Not
Tannehill.
like him.
I have Ryan Tannehill too.
You don't like
Um,
Jalen. It hurts.
No, I don't.
What's
I've-
wrong
I've
with
Hurts at
Jalen? It
12.
hurts.
I
Aaron
have-
Rodgers went above Wilson in my startup.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he threw for 48 touchdowns this season. It's recency bias.
Okay.
I think that there's a Tannehill. If you've watched him play, there's a clear reason why he's mentioned here. He has the rushing upside, and he has AJ Brown. That is a very good thing to have.
I heard he's pretty good.
He's pretty good at
It's kind of
football.
average, but he's pretty good.
I mean, he should have stopped playing football week 2 this year, and I think he
Selfish,
did.
Tyler.
ended
That
up
makes
being
him
a Pro Bowl.
selfish.
The one thing I'd say that does help him out on top of that is he does have Derrick Henry, so that gets you some smaller coverages, gets you some one-on-one opportunities.
So, Brian, what's your reasoning for having Hurts?
The way I think about Jalen Hurts is, how old is this man? Like 22.
But it just scares me he's not going to start.
No, but I think about like what he's shown talent wise, like even throwing the ball versus I mean, Travis Fulgham and
But
Jalen
No,
Reagor.
I think the scary, like he looked really good for 2 games, and then
No, but I think he's
Pat-
shown enough where he's good enough to be a starter in the NFL. And with his rushing upside, I think if you give me like 10 years of Jalen Hurts, he's going to score fantasy points. That's all
Hey.
I'm looking at.
And this
So
is
you
Sean, and this
drafting-
is
you drafting-
Brian's
I
ranking.
really like Hurts.
expecting Hurts is going to be the starter. Like if he's not the starter, obviously none of us are going to rank him in the top 12.
If he was the starter, I would have put him above Tua, right? Tua.
yeah,
Tua
But I
above
just
him?
don't know.
You put Tua above him?
Well, because I don't know if Hurts is going to start.
It doesn't matter. He's going to be a starter somewhere.
So my
Right,
thing
in
with
4
Tannehill,
years,
I do
you're
have
not going to trade
Tannehill
Hurts.
above Hurts and Tua, but for Tannehill, what I'm scared of is Corey Davis and Jonnu are free agents. So if they don't re-sign, he does lose weapons. And I know he has AJ Brown, but like having the extra weapons, Corey Davis and Jonnu helps.
I think Ferkser is
Ferkser is Smith, dude.
fine.
Ferkser's a fine tight end. He isn't the red zone target that Jonnu Smith is. So I definitely think that would be an issue if he doesn't bring him back. Obviously,
I don't like Corey Davis had a really good year, but are we really scared about Corey Davis?
I think that there's no way that the Titans don't either re-sign him or bring in somebody else. And I think that the odds are that they're going to bring in somebody at a higher level than Corey Davis.
If they bring someone at a higher or equal level as Corey Davis, then I'm not scared about Tannehill.
And I think that the odds of that are pretty high.
Yeah. And also when you have weapons like Derrick Henry and AJ Brown, it just makes the defense focus less on you because they have to focus so much on AJ Brown and that bowling ball of a running back.
Yep, for sure. What about 12? Who do you guys have at 12?
I have Tua.
I also have Tua.
But I like Hurts over Tua if Hurts is the starter.
The thing that I'd say about Tua is I don't think he's looked too impressive, to be honest. I don't think anybody like
is that his fault though, or are they telling?
I don't know. I don't know if that's his fault completely.
He was so good in college.
I think it doesn't help him that one of his main weapons got hurt. At least, I mean, his entire running back got COVID.
I don't think his receivers were very good either. And, you had Devontae Parker hurt, Preston Williams hurt. His WR1 was like Mac Hollins.
Yeah.
Which is not doing anyone any favors. But I think I might take Fields at 12 maybe. If we're
not doing rookies.
No, I know. I'm just saying that that's another.
I think that if we were including rookies, there would be a certain player from Clemson in here, and it would probably be him in the top 12.
I already said Trevor, where I would have Trevor, but I'm saying Fields. I feel like Fields could be in this.
So you have Fields over Tannehill?
No.
That's what we're saying is you'd have one player
in there. In your top 12.
It depends.
No, I would have him over Tua.
Fields just depends.
Yeah, but you slide in Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Anybody else have anybody other than Tua at 12?
Got Tannehill.
Hurts.
You have Tannehill? That's fair. Yeah. Okay. I think some other names that we can mention here that are older, but it's important to bring them up.
Kirk Cousins.
Baker.
I wouldn't. I mean, Kirk Cousins is an okay option, but I was thinking even a little bit somebody else. Matthew Stafford has been a proven fantasy option. I know he might be losing both his weapons, which is a little bit scary. But other than that, he's been a consistent guy. He'll play for you even if he is in a stretcher, so that's nice. Toughest guy in the NFL by far. I don't think it's a question. Who said Baker? I don't know if I like Baker for fantasy, just because he has Chubba Wubba Hub and
Do we like Goff?
We like Goff's offense.
No, we don't like Goff.
We like Goff's offense, but
Goff's not gonna have that job in 3 years.
He's getting paid too much, I think.
I'd say once the contract's up, he's gone.
Yeah, I think.
When is that contract up though?
3 years, right?
I think it's something like that. But the good thing for Goff is that contract keeps him in LA for a while.
Yeah,
and he has his weapons in LA too, for on contract.
2025.
Wow. But the thing is I think eventually that contract is going to be a little bit easier to cut off. So I think he's going to be gone.
By 2022, there's a potential out where they take 8.6 million in dead cap, so they could cut him
because they had no cap too. Because I feel like, what's the difference between Goff and Wolford? Obviously, Goff's a little bit better, but like Wolford could do the same job Goff's doing, in my opinion.
I don't know about that.
But like a similar job, does Goff really translate to them winning? Like, how much does he really help them win?
Agree.
Well, I think when they made the Super Bowl, he was.
I think it was Todd Gurley.
But yeah, I mean, he was still really good.
But
just some other names to keep attention to. Phillip Rivers retired, so there's only one guy in the Colts quarterback room right now. It's Jacob Easton.
Bro, that's my guy.
We don't know what that situation is, but if they don't sign anybody else, he's worth the pickup, especially if you have a deep bench. I would say, as bad as he is as a quarterback, I'd say the same for Dwayne Haskins. If
I was about to mention Haskins.
Yeah, if the Steelers don't pick anybody else up, he's worth a bench stash. Just because of who he is. Because there's the free agents this year aren't even that crazy for a quarterback. I mean,
right?
It's Dak, and then the second guy, in my opinion, is Ryan Fitzpatrick. So if you want some Fitz magic, depending on what team he ends up, I think he could.
How about Derek Carr? How do we feel?
Oh yeah,
about
Marcus Mariota is a good bench stash too. For Derek Carr.
Dude, Marcus Mariota is better than Derek Carr. Hot take.
You guys don't like Carr?
Carr was actually a decent fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
I think
That
any
sucks.
He was a QB 14 this year.
I don't know how he is as a actual
Yeah, but
player.
in real life, John Gruden hates him. You can just tell.
No, John Gruden likes him.
No, John Gruden hates him. He's gone.
I don't know if I completely agree with that.
And he is only 29.
I think the good thing for the Oakland Raiders offense in general is I think that they're pretty set at quarterback, having Mariota and Derek Carr there with a solid third guy of Nathan Peterman. So if worse ever comes to worse, they have the stud at the third quarterback there. I don't know if there's any guys other than the ones I've just mentioned. Does anybody else have any other guys? I don't really like anybody else. I mean, obviously you bench test Carson Wentz just because he might get the job.
Would you say, Jack?
Baker Mayfield.
Explain.
Daniel
like him.
Jones.
I think that Baker has his age going for him. He's deceptively young, so he does that.
If I could give anyone any advice, if you have Daniel Jones on your dynasty roster, trade him for anything. Take the last pick in the draft, bro. That guy is awful. I would rather have Dwayne Haskins. I'm not even kidding.
You guys are sleeping on my boy Daniel.
Danny Dimes, bro. Danny Pesos is so bad. Like, he's literally just.
Hey, he was a QB2 this year.
What?
He was the QB 24.
Oh, a QB too.
Hey, he has some of that rushing upside.
I thought you said he was the QB too. I was like, I won that one.
Are we back in the league this year?
What?
Like, I think he hit the top speed for all quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
then
then
ate crap.
and then he tripped over himself.
I think the one thing helping him out is he if they don't draft a quarterback, he does have Saquon coming back.
And they're gonna draft a receiver.
No, dude, he's gone. I'm telling you, he's bad.
He's not very good though. I don't think he's. I wouldn't be. For example, if
I don't think it's not fair to give up on a quarterback after 2 years.
It is when he was never a good prospect in the first place.
It's the
He's
same
never
thing.
been good. He's never been good.
All I'm gonna say is that if it happens to be that Ryan Fitzpatrick goes to the Giants, I might pick up Ryan Fitzpatrick to take that job.
Bro, yeah, because their team's actually good. If they get like a decent quarterback with Saquon.
I got another name. Now I'm just throwing bullshit out there.
Is it
But
Jimmy?
no. Uncle Drew. Drew Lock?
He's not an uncle. He's like nephew Drew.
Oh, that's Kyrie's nickname.
He's like 25. What do you mean, uncle?
No. Because Uncle Drew, like, okay, never mind.
Actually, Jackson uncle at 20.
Drew Lock. I think the Broncos are not drafting a quarterback.
I don't.
No,
think
they're
they are
drafting
either.
Trey Lance. I'm manifesting it.
I got one for you guys. Sam Darnold.
Ooh,
That's not a bad pick.
I love Sam Darnold.
You guys like Darnold?
I like him a whole lot more than Uncle Drew.
And
Oh, he's gonna
Danny
go-
Pesos.
He could stay with the Jets. He could go to the Colts. He could go.
I think he's staying with the
somewhere.
Jets because Salah said he really liked Darnold.
He's well. I mean, he didn't
but-
say he was going to be the starter though.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good point.
I mean, he's not going to like step into the room and be like, "Yeah, this guy, that's my starting quarterback right now." Pretty bad at football.
Okay, so look, I don't think Drew Lock is very good, but he is 24,
He's also terrible.
Bro,
and
I
he's
don't
gonna
care.
start.
If you
I
can
don't
get
think
a
he's
second round pick or a third
Okay.
round pick for Drew Lock, send him off.
Way
honestly.
better than any of these guys we're talking about more recently. If the Bears do not draft a quarterback, I know he's not good at actual football. Mitchell Trubisky is a good fantasy.
Well, he is a
quarterback.
free agent, so he could leave.
I think he's going to take a low contract with the Bears, and I think they're probably not going to draft anybody just because of the pick they're at.
I don't think they're gonna draft anyone. It's just will he resign?
I think who's gonna resign? Who's gonna sign him if he doesn't resign? There's not that many.
He's
Holes.
coming home, Tyler. He's coming home. Mitchell's coming to the Niners.
I would
think
punch
that
everything. I hate Mitch.
if there is a quarterback contest between Mitchell Trubisky and Jimmy Garoppolo, that'd be a fun preseason to watch.
Dude, the thing about Mitchell,
Remember when Tyler said Mitch was better than Josh Allen?
He was playing better than Josh Allen that season.
Dude, the thing about Mitchell Trubisky, right? If you watch like only his 10 best plays, you're like, wow, that is Brett Favre.
Yeah. Remember that time he ran like 80 yards on a 9-yard touchdown? You guys remember what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. But
he like ran across the entire field and then
I still don't get why the Bears benched him, because Nick Foles did them no favors. I know that Trubisky's not the greatest.
Were they undefeated with Nick though?
No,
they were undefeated with Trubisky.
They were undefeated with Trubisky.
Oh,
yeah,
and they benched him.
Was.
I don't know why.
Well, because he didn't look good. I mean,
but you got your young quarterback and you're winning. You might as well ride it. I don't know why.
Yeah, for sure.
No, they were losing that Falcons game and then they benched him and they were like, there's no going back.
The thing I'd say is,
back and he was killing it.
I think Mitchell Trubisky is a good later guy. So not earlier in your draft. So obviously you're not drafting Mitchell Trubisky anytime.
Well, I did a startup and I got him in the 17th round.
Yeah,
so.
if you can get, that's an absolute steal.
Yeah,
if he's a starting quarterback, his value shoots super high up. Like he's way more valuable than a 17th round pick. I think we can all agree with that.
Also, Jameis Winston will fall in your dynasty startup drafts too, so make sure you get a piece
Hopefully he'll fall.
Where did he go in my? I mean, maybe with the whole Breeze situation. But
Breeze hasn't retired yet though, so like.
Jameis went 16th round.
Oh, Breeze retired.
No, not officially.
Oh, Phillip retired.
Okay, so I think we should recap the show by each listing off our top 12, like one by one.
Sure.
I'll start. At 1, I had Mahomes. 2, Josh Allen. 3, Deshaun Watson. 4, Kyler. 5, Lamar. 6, Herbert. 7, Dak. 8, Russell Wilson. 9, Joe Burrow. 10, Aaron Rodgers. 11, Tannehill. And 12, Jalen Hurts. And then at 12, if Jalen Hurts is not the starter, I have Tua at 12.
I can go. So I had Mahomes 1. Unpopular opinion. Lamar 2. Josh Allen 3. Kyler 4. Deshaun 5. Dak 6. Herbert 7. Burrow 8. Rodgers 9. Wilson 10. Tannehill 11. And then either Hurts or Tua, right? If Hurts is the starter, Hurts. If he's not the starter, then Tua.
I have Mahomes first, then I have Josh Allen, then I have Kyler, then I have Lamar, and I'll make that note again. I would have Watson here, but I just don't like the fact that I don't know what team he's on. Then I have Dak, then I have Herbert, then I have Watson, then I have Wilson, Burrow, Rodgers, Tannehill. And kind of the same thing as everybody else. I'll take Tua, but if I know that Jalen Hurts is a starter, I'm going to take Jalen Hurts.
All right, Jack.
All right, I got Mahomes 1, Josh Allen 2, I got Deshaun Watson at 3, Lamar at 4, Kyler at 5, Herbert at 6, Dak at 7, Burrow at 8. I got Wilson at 9, Winston at 10, Tannehill at 11, and Tua at 12.
Hey, do you know how Rodgers?
No Rodgers. Okay.
All right, solid. All right, my number 1 is Patrick Mahomes. My number 2 is well, we need to stay politically correct, not the M word. We're gonna say the short guy, Kyler Murray. They got Josh Allen, who's gonna make a Super Bowl this year. Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, assuming he's on the Cowboys. Lamar Jackson, who's awful. Joe Burrow, assuming he returns to football. Russell Wilson, who's pretty good. Aaron Rodgers. I would have Jalen Hurts at 10 when Carson Wentz gets cut. But for now, Aaron Rodgers at 10, Jalen Hurts at 11, Ryan Tannehill at 12. That is all.
I think we all agree, though. If you're between two guys and it's a really close tiebreaker, just always go with the younger dude. That's just the key to all dynasty
Unless
success.
it's Russell Wilson, then don't go him, obviously, Shonik.
Then go for the dude 5 years older.
We all have the same top 12 except Winston for Jack. So
And I like the Winston pick if he's
Yeah.
actually playing.
Winston's
So we
a
are gonna
sneaky
do running backs, receivers, and are we gonna do tight ends or no?
yeah, so the next show will be top 12 dynasty running backs. The following show after that will be top 12 dynasty
Yeah.
receivers, and then tight ends we will decide whether or not to
No,
do.
we're not doing tight ends
I
until the
mean-
rookies come in because we got
Yeah,
that's fair.
Brevin
Yeah.
That's
and
fair.
Kyle and
And I
Because
think
right now our 12th tight end would probably be like I don't even
Jeez,
know.
dude.
Hayden
Smith.
Hurst,
I was gonna say Irv Smith.
I think we definitely need to know where
Austin
some guys end up.
Hooperton.
Like if we don't know where Jonnu Smith is even going to be,
Yeah.
and he's definitely a top 10.
So
back.
running backs, it's gonna be a lot more like it's gonna be a lot more diverse with the running backs. that
I
we'll-
think receivers is going to be the most
Receivers is gonna be-
differentiation.
Yeah,
huge.
receivers is going to be fun.
Yeah, receivers is going to be very.
We might
interesting.
have some trades going down after we find out how people really feel about these receivers.
Justin Jefferson one.
Don't draft Justin Jefferson one.
Oh,
Please
Jeffy
don't.
gonna be in my top 5.
Yeah.
Oh, what the?
Yeah, but
dude,
not
top
one.
three?
My top 3, bro. My top 3.
Yeah, facts.
Top
All
3.
right.
Damn.
We'll leave that for later, but
Okay. We'll see you guys next show.
Peace.
see you guys.